You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals, funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, traders. It's Tuesday, October 7th, and we're watching an incredible tug of war in the markets. Gold is brushing up against $4,000 an ounce, up over 50% year to date. And Goldman Sachs sees us heading towards 5,000. But billionaire Ken Griffin said it's no victory lap, it's a warning flare. And I've got my man Big Beat here to break it all down. Are you with Ken Griffith or are you with David Solomon?
I'm with Ken Griffin. He's right. He has the punch to what's going on in the world, whereas David Solomon is just kind of pretty much looking at. Even Goldman is talking. Yeah, right there it is. Even Goldman's talking about $5,000 an ounce. You don't buy gold unless the world's falling apart, right? I mean, that's why you buy. You buy as a hedge. You're right.
Goldman's view is based upon de-dollarization, and that is where the money is going to go, and the de-dollarization is going to continue on central banks and around the globe. And I saw one that I'm going to have to bring up with Mr. Flanagan next time we see him, although he is gone for the week on vacation.
Yeah.
Good timing for him because I have ready for him. Many companies are moving U.S. equities into their local currencies and now being able to trade that way. So they're not getting the double whammy. They're not looking at the double whammy. They're not keeping U.S. dollars. So maybe the king dollar is not coming back as quickly as maybe we thought.
Well, I mean, one of the things I'm kind of excited about is the dollar yen, right? So the dollar yen's pushed up a little bit even more, 150.5 now. I like that because I'm going to Japan, so I'm excited about that. But the truth is that the dollar getting the double whammy. There's two things going on here. The first thing that's going on with the double whammy is that when you look at investors internationally looking to buy our products at our equities, they're almost hedging against it, right? So if let's say, for example, they buy IBM stock with their euro in this case, and then they buy machines. Let's say they buy servers from IBM. It's better to buy that in the dollar. So they are taking a little bit of a whack on both sides. So it's not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. We're not seeing the dollar moving in huge increments like we had. It's not back over the 100 handle yet. There's nothing.
The dollar's dropped 10% year to date, biggest 6-month decline in 50 years. So you say that, but it slowly has become.
But that's already happened. That's the past. I'm talking about the future. So when I'm looking at look, we have to play with the game where we are right now, and the dollar has been beaten up, and we've talked about that for a while now. I think that Steve Flanagan's right. I think the dollar will go back up. I think it'll start pushing up as inflation is still rearing its ugly head. Now, one of the things that I noticed yesterday, and I was reading it again, was, and what I did yesterday, I think the missing piece of all of this is materials. You're going to need materials in order to make things happen again. If you're going to be a manufacturing country, then you're going to bring it all back to the United States. Then you're going to need materials. And so I bought VMIAX yesterday. That's Vanguard's material mutual fund, as they start to bring in, as materials start to push up raw materials.
But wouldn't that push gold up? As Peter Thomas has told us, gold is a technical metal now. It is a very big part of these chips, as we know. That's why it's hard for me to follow Ken Griffin here. And I'm not a gold bug by any means, so it's not there. Gold ETF holdings are still very low. So as the retail is not part of this trade so far, there isn't froth yet. It's actually structural so far. Like I said, I actually follow on the Goldman Sachs now. I'm following them.
Paul Tudor Jones said it smells like 1999 all over again. And that's what I've been trying to say to people. This is the economy. Look, we know what happened in
Wouldn't that mean gold's going more? Because in 99, gold skyrocketed.
It
so
did.
you know what I mean? That's not good yet.
But gold has already skyrocketed. That's the thing with me. It's
Yeah, but retail hasn't FOMO'd in yet. There's, like I said, you look at it, because I look at the amount of money being held in Bitcoin ETFs versus gold, and we're killing them. When it comes to that, is that Bitcoin is where those ETFs, when people start to realize that they can do that with gold, because a lot of these crypto people don't realize that. So there going to be some hedges there. So I think, and then I did see our boy Griffin had comments about the Fed's independence being a very, very important thing. Is that a shot across the bow? Because we all know he's not afraid of Mr. Trump.
Nobody's afraid of Mr. Trump at this point. To be honest with you,
come on. Every other CEO is bowed completely down from Tim Cook to the rest. So the only two guys I've seen that haven't, Jamie Dimon and Ken Griffin.
Yeah, and that's because they're friends with him, and that's what separates it, right? That they are, I would almost say, investors in the Trump administration at this point, right? Whereas Tim Cook had to bow down, whereas Facebook had to bow down because they were not on Trump's campaign, shall we say. And now it's like, listen, you need to have independent Fed. This is where we've been talking about this for a while, Howard. The cooler heads have to prevail, and cooler heads, you can't have the head of the IRS working at the Fed. You can't have the head of a Fed board governor and chair cannot be in the Treasury Department. Right? It's just, there's got to be an independence, and that's something that we as a country are looked greatly upon, because we do have that democracy and that independence. And when those two things start to merge, we got a problem, right? And so I think cooler heads with Ken is actually starting to rear its head now into the White House, going, listen, you got to stop this, right? But so we don't know what's going to happen, though.
Steve, shutdown enters its second week today. Markets don't care. No data, no nothing. They don't care. It just keeps going up. It's 7 straight days of up for the S&P. 67.40 there. NASDAQ at 22.940. Both record closes yesterday. Dow was slightly lower, but small caps joined the party. Even as the Labor Department stays closed and Friday's job report is delayed.
My mentor, Paul Tudor Jones, let me tell you, saying the same thing I've been saying. Look, this is nuts. The market's going up, can go higher and higher and higher, but there's a disconnect. Main Street and Wall Street are massively disconnected. I've talked about this. You got shutdowns. You got gold at all-time high, Bitcoin at all-time highs. Markets are going to all-time highs. S&P 500 going to all-time highs. People are losing their jobs. Economy is falling apart. We're probably going into a recession. There's a recession already in 22 states. Believe it or not. And yet the market's going higher. And I've said this. It's like, and Paul Tudor Jones is exactly right. It's 1999 all over again, like the dot-com era. People just kept buying stock, kept buying. There was a time, Howard, we'd make jokes. Back then, you take the Wall Street Journal, you take it apart, you take stocks out of it, like little pictures of it, put it on a map or a dart board, and throw a dart at it, and whatever it hit, you'd buy. And that was stock.
It reminds me of crypto in 2017. Right. I'm not going to lie. Whatever's down yesterday, buy it because it's going to be up today. That does worry me. And Janney Montgomery called it out. Are we in that liquidity-driven crack-up boom where everything goes parabolic before reality hits?
And that's what we're at now. That's what Paul Tudor Jones said, that we could go parabolic before the what hits the fan. So
so did Mike Novogratz yesterday on CNBC talked about it, where and that upside, as he put it, can be 40% to the upside.
Hey, who didn't buy Bitcoin? Michael Saylor.
Strategy, which is hurting them today, which is hurting them. They are surprised by that a little bit myself. They pointed to their $3.9 billion in profit on their Bitcoin as their big talking point this week. But that backfired for them because BMNR, a lot of these others that did buy the dip are absolutely taken off again today. IREN, a bunch of the other crypto names, and they're not participating. So it's an interesting one here. Fed minutes are due tomorrow, so even with everything being shut down, we do get those. They'll be in focus tomorrow. Traders are pricing in a 93% of another 25 basis point cut on October 29th right now, Steve. And the shutdown's data blackout means the Fed is flying partially blind. Treasury yields are holding steady, 10-year at 4.18, 2-year at 3.61. We got Bostic, Bowman, Murren, and Kashgari all speaking today. What do you think we're going to hear?
They like the camera more than I do, I guess. Look,
there you go.
look, it's I've complained in the past about how the Fed has not been on TV. Now I'm complaining about how the Fed's too much on TV, right? There's not a happy medium, right? They seem to be they're lost. This is the most lost Fed I've ever seen. They are not understanding the markets. They are data driven, and yet there's no data. They are data driven and can't point to major data points, right? They have, as Steve Flanagan says, they're an academic group. They're not a Main Street group. They don't really know what's really going on. That's right. Yeah, jobs, quite frankly, are being lost. And there's no jobs to go back to. Look, I can tell you, I've been through 6 airports in the last 3 weeks, and the airports are quiet, right? TSA, yes, I get it that the government shutdown, they're still coming, but people aren't traveling as much. I've never gone through TSA so fast in my entire life. It's ridiculous. And look, let's be honest. Things are not good, and yet people are buying. And when you look, the last time COVID, the second that COVID happened and the shutdown started to happen, everybody became a trader. Everybody became an investor, right? As people lose their job, they're going to start trading again, try to make some money, right? That's what they have to do. Somehow they have to make money. You're starting to see that. I want to see volume pick up, and I'm not. So because of that, yeah, right. I agree. All right, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. OpenAI and AMD.
Yeah, OpenAI, AMD, sealed a multi-billion-dollar data center partnership with OpenAI set to deploy 6 gigawatts of AMD's Instinct GPUs. Sam Altman even gets a warrant to buy up to 10% of AMD. AMD's stock showed 23%, yet up again in the pre-market today. The deal challenges NVIDIA's dominance, but it also deepens the AI circular economy. NVIDIA funds the compute, Oracle builds the sites, AMD supplies the chips, and OpenAI drives demand. Same small group, same loop. A lot of analysts pointing to it and saying if one link in that chain falters, the whole ecosystem falters.
Yeah, that's a pretty good chain when you got those companies around. So that's kind of silly. But I will tell you the one thing, the biggest part about all of this is the agentic AI side of it. It's the drag and drop Canva style that I like. This makes your agentic AI. A lot of companies that are building agentic AI, they're in trouble because they just put them completely out of into the pasture. If you are trying to build agentic AI as your main company, you're done. You're literally done. If you're looking at finance and AI, and that's your only thing, you're done because these companies are building it faster, right? And that's why we are incorporating with these things and not trying to build it ourselves, right? And I think that's what's really, really good right now. And Sam Altman being able to buy AMD, this warrant situation, is telling you that this merger is happening on a smaller scale, that these companies are trying to be the next level of everything, right? They want to be the leaders. When I say that, the leaders in the past who were not the leaders was Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. They became the leaders because they all came together. They didn't Microsoft, Bill Gates saw that, right? He invested in Apple, saved Apple's butt. Same thing's happening here. They're creating an ecosystem. It's what I've said all along, even for Quasar Markets. Build the ecosystem, put it together. That's the key. And when you look at it from their perspective right now, Sam is going, okay, I put the pieces in place. Now we have to make sure that they're connected and stay connected through money. And this is what they're doing now. So I love this deal. This is a great deal, and it is the future.
Yeah, it's almost like an AI oligarchy. Same names, cross-investing, feeding each other's valuations. Does this setup feel sustainable to you, Steve, or are we seeing a setup for a systematic tech shock?
It depends. If they get like they start to live on their horses and they don't produce and they don't create and they don't build and they don't make and they don't push the envelope further. Yes. If they push the envelope further and they do what Amazon did, go from a book company to what it is today, then yes, they'll be that company. They'll be that big ecosystem. But let's see. I think it's a wait and see attitude right now. But the money is coming into them. Sam has raised the money. There's still a question mark around the nonprofits side
Oh
of
yeah.
OpenAI. That's got to be fixed. But the richest guy on the planet is not happy with OpenAI. So there is an issue here and Grok isn't keeping up with OpenAI. Let's just be honest, right? You can be blustery all you want on Twitter, and I love Twitter, I love X, but I just don't. There's a big disconnect. Grok isn't keeping up with OpenAI, so this is what keeps the monopoly from happening, right? That there is some competition. I like that. So let's see where that goes.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you see AMD as the dark horse here, or is Nvidia's moat too deep?
Nvidia's moat's too deep.
Okay, because if not, AMD's at its valuation would be a heck of a buy. Then look, if you thought it would enter that Mag 7 sort of world, that would be a huge move to the upside. Steve, real estate, of course, so big right now, and the real estate market is consolidating hard. Rocket acquired Redfin and Mr. Cooper, while Compass is buying Anywhere Real Estate, forming America's largest brokerage, 340,000 agents under one roof here. Redfin, Rocket, one-stop shop for home buying, loans, and closings, but at the
Yep.
cost of transparency. And this Compass Anywhere could drive more off-market listings, reducing visibility for buyers. The FTC has actually raised concerns about vertical integration and consumer pricing power, but didn't block the deal so far. And the experts warn this could push the U.S. towards a European style, which is not a transparent housing market, a very opaque market. What do you think there?
Uh,
I know it's a
let's
lot.
uh, let's talk about it from the perspective of the consumer. Um, I just had a all day event at Nasdaq yesterday that I was able to watch some of the brightest minds on the planet talk about real estate, talk about the future, and when we talk about the American dream, is the American dream home ownership again? Is it a position where and I don't think the answer is yes. I think it's no. I don't think people care. When we're now at 47% renters. Um, they don't care, right? They're not. And look, when you see Bitcoin up 91% this year alone, and your home probably in the average in the United States, now it's different in every place. I get that. On the average, went up 3%. When you weren't getting how much at the bank? When you were investing in stocks, which was up probably about 20 to 30%, depending on where you put it, and sometimes 40, 50. Home ownership isn't the key. So are they planning for the future? Is home ownership do you know where most of the buying is coming into these homes, these single family homes? It's VC money. It is not money, but that the bank, and the banks are running out of money. They're in trouble, and there's trillions of dollars coming up in commercial real estate that they have to refinance. How are they going to do it? They're not going to be able to, and the too big to fail might come back in again. That's what I'm saying. The crows are coming to roost, and it's coming faster than everybody thinks it is. And when you're seeing equity buying at this rate, and you're seeing all this happening, I'm saying it right now. Rocket's making a good move into buying Redfin, but what are they actually buying? They're not buying. They're buying the technology. They're not buying the actual homes. Redfin doesn't own the homes. They just own the ability to buy the home. So what are they actually doing? Are they streamlining the event so that VC can make the buys and see it better and quicker? They can just buy the back end data, then that's smart, right? And they can make better understanding of the market because Rocket does what they sell the loan, right? They have the mortgage, so they're winning in both ways. But you still have to have the actual home to buy, or you actually have to have the in this case maybe multi asset homes, meaning apartment complexes, because VCs are buying it, and Rocket has that. So this is a smart move for Rocket. Um, but is it a smart move 5 years from now? That jury is still out, and I don't know, because I said it yesterday in the meeting that I don't think that the American dream is home ownership anymore.
Well, we'll see that. It seems to be that every time that somebody says that, it turns out not to be the case. Where it is still the dream, it just takes them to get older. They get sick of paying.
Yes.
They get sick of paying rent, and once they turn 30, the millennials now all want homes, right? So they're the ones.
But there's no homes to buy.
Well, they're the ones
That's what I'm
complaining
saying.
the loudest. That's what I mean. They're the
Right.
ones complaining the loudest because now they realize that they do want a home. They're having children. Apartments
And they made a
aren't
mistake.
do that.
And there's could be a lost generation here. I think that's what's happening, right? There's a lost generation of this group that can't afford it because the prices have exploded, right? The inflation, all the things that we said. And on top of that, then there's no banks aren't lending the way that they were because they don't have the money to lend. And they're waiting for the rates to come down, which isn't happening. They're going up. So we all these things we've talked about for almost 2 years now is happening, and it could be a lost generation for a lot of them.
Absolutely. We are about 5 minutes from the open here. Qs are set to open up about 21 basis points here, have come off the highs of the morning in the last 10, 15 minutes. Same thing on the SPY. The S&P set to open up about 14 basis points to the north. Advanced decline, though, did come to the high of the morning right here, or 1624 to the upside. So we do see, as we mentioned earlier, small caps are starting to catch up to the bigger caps here.
Yep.
VIX down a little bit around 1621 here. Gold 39.81 pulling off the highs of the day. Silver at 48.40 hit as high as 48.76 yesterday. Bitcoin cooling off a little bit at 124,800. Ethereum actually picking up here, 47.51. Looks like Ethereum wants to be the runner today. If we look at the sectors of the S&P, it is a mixed bag so far today. Looks like XLK, which is technology, wants to open up the furthest in the green, up about 50 basis points. And biggest laggard so far, well, not really. Energy a little bit here, and some. Yeah, I was going to say Grok has its. They all definitely have use cases that work differently. I use Grok if I want social sentiment. Also,
Yeah.
It is by far the best.
Grok's
If I
fine with
want to
social
get
sentiment.
if I want to get social sentiment and say what's trending and how can I play it and things like that. That's where it definitely does work better, in my opinion. Like I said, I think they each have their own sort of one. Isn't Claude the one that really, though, is for? I'm not a programmer, so not my world on that side. Social sentiment, I definitely think it's better for. I think I think anyone that's only using one of those is missing
That's
out
right.
tremendously.
That's right.
Also,
We're
without
using
a doubt.
over
That's
18
what I love
AIs.
about ours, where we combine a bunch of
Yeah.
different learning models together to produce our answers and our
Correct.
results at Quasar. And that's going to be the future, aggregating that information in a timely way, in a way that gives a better answer or a more easily understandable answer.
That is correct.
Talking
Yes.
about things like that yesterday. Know who's back in the news yesterday, Steve? Someone that you and I are big fans of, but that you don't hear from anymore. Peter Lynch. I happened to be talking to my group about Peter Lynch and telling them they should read his books, which I will also say at $1.99 on Kindle right now. Everybody should read Beating the Street.
Yeah.
But he actually had comments yesterday. Someone interviewed him for a podcast. He retired at 40, and now at 80 years old. Must be nice. Still chatting about the industry out there. And just again talked about. I was talking about Costco, as you know, here, where I want to buy it. If it hits 900, I think it's a value. And I think Costco's thesis is it's brought in the higher end users in LA and they're buying caviar and champagne. And here in Ohio, they're buying toothpaste and toilet paper. But either way, Costco is winning, and he called out Costco as a fundamental winner and talked about, buy what you know. When you're out, I was talking to them about when you're at the store, look at what people are buying. When you're at the airport, I talked about how you're looking to see, are there people in the airport, the channel checks we talk about here, and how you can get that. I brought up to one of my clients there that has two college age students. I said, you are in the perfect spot, Julia. Let me know, what are they trending towards? Which AI are they using? What are they doing? Which stores are they buying at Target or Costco? She made it clear Costco, because let's face it, the college consumer is Target's probably number one consumer. So those channel checks are things you can do on your own, and that's what you should be doing. I talked about how Peter Lynch's famous one is his wife sent him to the store to pick up a pair of legs, and that became his biggest winner of all time, was getting into their parent company. So we are 2 minutes from the open here, but it was interesting because you don't see him much anymore. So I do suggest looking for that article in the podcast, because the man, he was Warren Buffett before Warren Buffett was Warren Buffett.
Warren was for him, but I mean, Peter, this is somebody who has done major papers on Peter Lynch, and I followed him literally for 35 years. I can tell you, if you don't know the story about Peter Lynch, he actually carried the golf bags for the rich people in Connecticut. He was, yeah, the country club, and he did something that beyond what I believe as the buy what you know. He did something that I do to even today, and I don't stop doing. That's absorbing knowledge as fast and hard. So every time he would have a very wealthy person, he would pick their brain as he was carrying their bags, right? And he became the head of Fidelity Magellan, which became the flagship.
Averaged over 20% return for his entire career.
Yeah. And
you couldn't even get in. It was closed for years and years and years and years.
Correct. Yeah.
Like you said, Boston College boy, by the way, I will mention.
There you go.
Very active in the Boston College alumni community. That's why Boston College is one of the best places for traders. Wall Street filled with Boston College. That's why Wells Crowther very famously saved many lives.
Yeah, pretty much.
On 9/11. But
all right, let's go. What we got?
We are open here. Qs are up 21 basis points. First move is to the downside, though, back towards VWAP here. 608.78. NASDAQ, S&P 672.33, same thing. Everything is pulling slightly back, except for gold just surged back up 39.77 here. First move on Bitcoin is to the upside, so IBIT must be getting a little bit of inflow move there. That's good to see.
You're looking at AppLovin here?
AppLovin, I do not have AppLovin up. They are under suspicion of the SEC right now. Oh, I'm on the right screen. There you go. Down right now, up about 1.57% here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Did see some Twitter news, as you were saying, on Cuba.
I did buy AppLovin here.
I'm an AppLovin. Robinhood up 1.27% here this morning. Copper Fund up at 31.54 here. So those of you that bought copper with us, looking real nice. Coinbase struggling to go positive on the day, 385.88. UNH trying to break 360 here. Nice move to the upside today again. Charlie Moon looking at Bros, BROS, Dutch Brothers for buy the sell off here. Not working out so far.
I do like AppLovin. I mean, I am long AppLovin here for those of you who are asking.
NVIDIA up about 66 basis points here so far today. Apple up 7 basis points. Netflix, the big runner, up 1.87%. That's on an upgrade from Seaport Research. Tesla down 1.6% here. Steve's continuing to move to the downside, 445.86. DXY back up at 98.50 here. So nice move to the upside on the dollar, approaching that key level that Mr. Flanagan talked to us about. Bitcoin selling off a little bit here, coming back towards VWAP. Same thing with Ethereum, coming off highs of the morning. Tick is slightly positive. Dow Jones up 34 basis points here right now. SPY up about 20 basis points. Q's up 22 basis points so far.
I do have an order to sell. I put a limit order in here at I'm not gonna give out the number because everybody will be watching me, but and I might have just ticked it through. Let me just see that order. I did. I've just got lifted at 605.50 there.
Nice.
And I was pretty happy too there. Yeah. Yeah. My order was at 605.50. That's what I thought was the price there, and it ticked right through it. Maybe did I hit the high? I can't see. I don't have my big screens today, but
I don't know on that.
might make another run here. 605 again here on AppLovin. There's 605.81. Yeah, so I did tick through there. Yeah, we're all good there. 606 now, 22. I had a feeling that was going to run a little bit. Congratulations for those of you who follow me into this trade. 606.30 now. But I did take my money and run. 606.60 now.
Nice.
607 now.
Q starting to pick back up a little bit here.
There's 607.5 now. Oof. Hey, look at there. Hope anybody out there take that AppLovin by 608.60 now. Oh, 609 now. Oh dear. Oh, too soon, I guess. Too soon. But wow. I like this. I like that run though. 610 now. 611 now. Oof.
IBM up 2.72% here this morning. Nice move to the upside, actually pulling back a little bit from the highs of the day. We see Qualcomm with Palantir, nice little move to the upside, 1.63%. Palantir slowly moving back up towards that 190 all-time all-high here. SMCI up another 3.86% here this morning. Also a nice move to the upside, continuing to move to the upside.
611.5 now on App. Crap.
Constellation up 5.4% on strong quarterly earnings today.
612.60 now on App. Oh my goodness.
UNH up 81 basis points.
613.5 now on app for those of you following in. Oh my goodness. There might be some profit taking up here. I think that's a pretty good run there, I think.
Tick still slightly positive. Advanced declines come down to 1244, but coming back off of lows of the day. Moving back to the upside a little bit. DXY takes a little bit of breathing room and now starting to try to move back to the upside. AMD up another 6.67% here, so trying to move back towards that 226 it got to yesterday. DGNX Limited continues to move to the upside, another 14.9% here. This one just continues to take off, one of the newer names there. Galaxy Digital up another 5.56% here. That one just continued to run. Man, it just nailed the first fib extension, never mind retracement. Up another, that one is now up, wow, just 75% over the last 30 days.
614.5 now. 614.70 now on AppLovin.
NVIDIA continuing to move to the upside, up 75 basis points. Broadcom on the other side, down about 55 and moving to the downside here. TSM up a half a percentage point also, but seeing some sell-off also here this morning.
I am waiting on Bitcoin to come back down. I'm going to give it an opportunity here to slip back down, and I think we're building a top here, and I'm preparing for it. So yeah.
JP Morgan trying to battle back above 310 here. Bank of America up 83 basis points so far today. So we do see some movers there. HSBC moving down about half a percentage here.
Wired Magazine just put out an article says that ChatGPT OpenAI wants to be your operating system. That could very well happen.
Orbs, the WorldCoin digital asset treasury taken off today.
Oh my God.
15.81.
AppLovin 625 now, Howard. Why couldn't I just hold a few more minutes? It's up $20 since I sold it.
Wow. U.S. rare earth up another 8.8% here.
362 on UNH. Intel's up 2.7%.
Ford down 4.3% here, getting hit real hard. This was after a fire at one of their major suppliers overnight has taken them really down. So it's going to disrupt. It's their aluminum supplier, I believe. Here it is. Yeah, the Novelis New York plant in Oswego. They are the users. They supply the plant's aluminum. That was really hurting Ford here this morning. Lennar down. The home builders are down in general today, but Lennar down about 2.16%. D.H. Horton down a little over 3%. This was after D.H. Horton reported a 17% decline in its backlog over the past 2 years, which may impact its future project pipeline and market positioning. So home builders, again, still under trouble here.
Yep. Figma is up 7% today.
Tick has gone slightly negative here.
Yep.
Looks like the Dow Jones is where the drop is mostly coming from. The RUT finally bouncing back a little bit here after sliding down this morning. Gold struggling now a little bit, rejected at that 39.90 area, back down at 39.72. Bitcoin back below 124 here, definitely seeing some sell off. Same thing with Ethereum.
Yeah.
So definitely seeing some quick sell off across crypto here.
Yeah, and I'm looking for this. I mean, I think that you're going to start to see some sellers probably beat it up a little bit here. If we can get below that 123.30, somewhere around there, could have a pullback, like a drop, maybe down back, maybe even back down to like the 120, somewhere around there, 118 handle.
It was about a 2.3% to 1 ratio of longs to shorts. So you definitely have the ability to see some liquidations here.
Yeah, 123.5 now. We could break through here real quickly. I mean, profit taking is part of the game here, you know?
Yeah.
That's what we've talked about this, and people, oh no, we're going to $5 billion on Bitcoin. Well, yeah, maybe, but not yet. 123.4 now, but we're still slipping here.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to buy. I'm not ready to do it yet. There are some sellers, but there are some people buying down here at 123.5.
There is.
App Lovin is now 631 now a share.
Wow.
632.
People buying them dips.
Yep. I got out too soon. That's my bad. 633 now.
Tick slightly positive. Q staying nicely above VWAP there.
Mm-hmm.
AMD sees about a percentage point of a sell off there, so we are seeing a little bit of a sell off there. A little bit of a sell off on Galaxy Digital also. Same thing with the iron. So a couple of the crypto names getting hit here this morning. Could give some spots. Nice little bounce here from the lows of the day on Qubit. IBM up 3.4% now. Steve still moving to the upside here. US AR, US Rare Earth up 13% almost here this morning. Tick slightly negative. FIGR, Figure Technology, up 7.82%. Watch for a runner. It just broke its IPO high here. These things usually run now once they do that, so watch out. Going to see some definite squeeze to the upside on FIGR.
CoreWeave it back to 136 here, up 1.63%. AMD's now only up 5.8% on the 215.52 now.
BK backed BKKT, a runner also up 10.61% today. Steve, we didn't mention it. What do you think about the New York Stock Exchange parent company investing in a company you're not a fan of, Polymarket?
I mean, I saw it. I knew it was coming. I chatted with them not too long ago that they're looking at other ones too as well. It is what it is. You know, we're gonna be a gambling society, so here it is. So you know, you gotta buy what the people want.
Yeah, New York Stock Exchange parent betting on crypto prediction markets.
Yep, they are.
$2 billion investment, valuing it at $8 billion. It goes back to up to the upside here.
Yeah, there's AppLovin. I had a feeling that was top there, 627 now.
Tick's gone pretty negative here. 362 advanced decline, dropping back down below
Yep.
800 here. Sell-off is on the Dow Jones, now back to flat on the day. SPY only up 9 basis points here after hitting 673.09, back down around 672 and a quarter. And the Qs had got as high as 609.69, now back below 609 here. So,
You know what's interesting is Boeing here being up to almost 2% here. Even with all the stuff being delayed, it's kind of interesting here.
yeah, nice little move to the upside there.
Netflix up almost 2% here.
Google down almost a percentage point here this morning.
You know what's up 5% over the month is Lululemon.
There you go.
There's a big gap there around 200 there. Bitcoin still struggling here, 123.6 now.
Yeah, still path of least resistance is looking to the downside.
I agree. Yeah, we took a lot of the pressure off. I did. I took a lot off myself on this run.
Advanced decline now down to 633, so still moving in the wrong direction. Gold, though, back at 39.77, so trying to break back again. All-time high right now on the spot is 39.85. It hit earlier today. Copper now moving to 31.65 CPER is at, so continuing to move back to the upside there, highs of the day.
And Peter Thomas was right on copper.
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Copper.
DXY stalling out at this 98.50 area. Can't get through her yet. Costco 905 coming down closer to my 900 spot, where I think it starts to get interesting. AMD selling off a little bit more here.
Tesla holding a 451 there. No push to either side there. It's pretty flat on the day.
The metal company up 10% this morning. Also, everyone's taking bets on what comes next, which company the U.S. invests in next.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think materials is the key, and I bought mutual funds on materials. I think materials are next. Royal Caribbean RCL now down 2% here on the day.
We're on CPER. We've talked about it a lot on here. CPER is the index fund.
Dollar yen now at 151 now, 150.91 here. Hey, low. It's a lot of sushi.
Yeah.
Solana down about
Nvidia up
3%.
1.8% here.
Solana buy here, Howard, 228 here.
I'm letting everything blow off right now.
I agree. Yes, I am preparing for this. Yeah, because Ethereum running down 4,700 is like, wow.
Nvidia couldn't break above that 189 yet. That seems to be the spot it's stuck at so far. Apple, nice little move to the upside. AMD China bounce here, but doesn't look too strong. Tick still negative 327 so far. Advanced decline is at 600, coming to the downside. So it does look like we are seeing some sell-offs here. Qs are holding up pretty well, though. S&P holding up. The Dow Jones staying flat. So it's really these small caps that's starting to lose a little bit of steam here.
Yeah, agreed.
Gold again, 39, trying to break to 39.80 here. So trying to move back to the upside. Silver, 48.30. Bitcoin trying to get back to 124 here. Looks like it will. Looks like the buy the dip buyers are hitting crypto now.
Yep. Apple's pretty flat here, 257.18, only about 45 cents here. I mean, that's the big mama there. So, the markets don't seem to like either way here.
Okay, we are hitting the 10 o'clock hour. Steve, any predictions for the rest of the day?
Nope.
I do think it looks like buyers are stepping back in. The algos might be done, so we could see a slow meltdown here today to the upside. Bitcoin, you got to watch and see what happens there. Like I said, there is, when what you saw earlier is there are risks of downward flush. It is highly leveraged to the upside right now on Bitcoin. Ethereum is the one that looks like it wants to break out to me and make a run towards that 5,000. So we'll see what we get here. Everybody from Quasar Markets, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Okay.